I bought my dream house. Now my family says I owe it to my struggling brother. I had worked for this. Every long night, every sacrificed weekend, every moment of exhaustion that threatened to pull me under. I had endured it all for this. For the day when I would finally step through the front door of my house, keys in hand, knowing that every single thing inside it was mine. No handouts, no shortcuts, no favors. Just the relentless grind of effort, discipline, and an unwavering refusal to let anything or anyone stand in my way. The house was perfect. The kind of place I had dreamed about as a kid, back when home had been a cramped apartment with peeling wallpaper and the constant tension of unpaid bills hanging in the air. Now, I had everything I had ever wanted. Space, security, peace. The walls were mine to paint, the rooms were mine to fill, and for the first time in my life, I didn't have to answer to anyone. At least, that's what I thought. But nothing is ever that simple when you have a family like mine. The first hint of trouble came less than a week after I moved in. I was still settling in, still basking in the surreal joy of my achievement, when the first call came. It was my mother. "Sweetheart," she said, voice dripping with the kind of enthusiasm she usually reserved for guilt-tripping me. "How's the house? You must be so happy." I should have known then, because my mother never called just to ask about me. "It's great, Mom," I replied cautiously. "I'm still unpacking, but it's everything I wanted." "Oh, that's wonderful," she gushed, then sighed heavily, the kind of sigh meant to mean something. "You're so lucky." I stiffened. "Here we go." "I know," I said carefully. "You know who isn't so lucky?" she continued, her voice shifting into something softer, concerned, as if she were leading me into a trap I wasn't supposed to see coming. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. I already knew what she was going to say next. "Your brother." My grip on the phone tightened. "Mom." "He's struggling, sweetheart," she said quickly, as if cutting me off would keep me from shutting her down completely. "You know how hard things have been for him lately. He's trying his best, but life has been so unfair to him." Unfair. That was her favorite word when it came to Jason. Life was always unfair to him, even when he was the one making reckless decisions, even when he was the one who burned every opportunity handed to him. It was unfair that his get-rich-quick schemes never worked out. Unfair that he couldn't hold down a job for more than a few months. Unfair that his debts piled up because he forgot to pay them. Unfair. Never his fault. "I know where this is going," I said flatly. "And the answer is no." A beat of silence. Then, "Excuse me?" "No," I repeated, firmer this time. "I worked for this house, Mom. I worked hard. I'm not handing it over to Jason just because he doesn't want to take care of himself." "No one is saying you should hand it over," she said quickly, the sweet act slipping into something more clipped. "We're just saying, maybe you should consider letting him stay there for a while, just until he gets back on his feet. No? Sweetheart, be reasonable." I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Reasonable? You want me to be reasonable? Where was this reason when I was working 2 jobs to get through college while Jason blew through every dime he ever had? Where was it when I had to scrape by, while you and Dad bailed him out every time he messed up? Now you want to talk about fairness?" "That's different," she snapped, irritation creeping into her voice. "Jason needed help. He still needs help. You have everything now, and he has nothing." "That's his fault," I said, my voice cold. "Not mine." Another heavy silence. Then, her voice turned sharp. "So that's it? You're just going to abandon your brother?" I almost laughed again, but I was too angry for it. "Funny, you never had a problem abandoning me when I needed help." "Oh, for God's sake, I'm not Jason's safety net, Mom," I cut her off. "I never was, and I never will be." "You're being selfish," she snapped. "You have a house now, a whole house. You have more than enough. How can you sit there and let your own brother struggle while you live in comfort?" "Because I earned this," I shot back. "He didn't. He's family." "So am I," I shouted, the words bursting out before I could stop them. Silence, the kind that crackled with realization. And maybe, just maybe, she understood. I wasn't the villain here. I was just done playing the role of the expendable child. "I have to go," I said, my voice quieter now, but no less firm. "And before you even think about trying to manipulate me into changing my mind, let me be very clear. If Jason shows up at my door, I won't let him in. If you or Dad try to guilt trip me into giving him my house, I'll stop answering your calls. If you push me, you'll lose me. Permanently." I let the words sink in. Then, before she could try to twist them, I hung up. And since buying the house, I breathed, because I had something that was truly mine, and I wasn't going to let anyone take it away. Not Jason, not my parents, not anyone. I knew my family. I knew my mother. She wasn't going to accept no. Not immediately. Not without a fight. The moment I hung up that phone, I could feel it. An invisible countdown ticking down to the inevitable. The moment when she would regroup, reframe the narrative, and come at me again, this time with reinforcements. I wasn't wrong. The next day, it was my father. I saw the missed calls before I even rolled out of bed. 7 of them. Then a text. "Dad, pick up the phone. This is getting ridiculous." I stared at the screen for a long moment, then let the phone drop back onto the nightstand. There was nothing to say. I already knew how this conversation would go. Dad would start off calm, like he always did. He would frame it like he was trying to reason with me, like he was the voice of logic in this mess that I had apparently created. Then, when I didn't fold immediately, the guilt tripping would start. The whole, "we're family, we have to take care of each other" speech. And if that didn't work, then the disappointment act. The "I thought you were better than this" routine. I had seen him do it to other people. I had seen him do it to me. I wasn't playing that game. By noon, the calls had stopped. A temporary retreat. Nothing more. Then, at exactly 3:17 p.m., the next wave hit. Jason. Unlike my parents, my brother didn't waste time pretending. Jason. "WTF, dude?" Jason. "Mom says you won't let me move in?" Jason. "Are you serious right now?" Jason. "After everything I've done for you?" I snorted. "Everything he's done for me? Like what? Like the times he borrowed money and conveniently forgot to pay it back? Like the times he got himself into trouble and expected me to clean up the mess? Like the years of watching our parents bend over backward for him while I was left to figure everything out on my own?" I tossed the phone onto the couch and let it vibrate, letting his messages pile up in a storm of entitlement. I already knew how this would go. He'd rage. He'd call me selfish. He'd act like I was the one being unreasonable. And when that didn't work, he'd switch tactics. He'd try to make me feel bad. He'd talk about how hard life had been for him, how unfair it was that I got this amazing house while he was struggling. I wasn't playing that game either. Let them be mad. Let them scream. I wasn't handing over my house. I wasn't giving them anything. Not this time. By the end of the week, I had stopped counting the number of times my phone had rung. Denise had called, pretending she was just checking in, before launching into a passive-aggressive monologue about family loyalty. Uncle Rob had texted some garbage about how things should be fair for everyone. Even Danielle, who barely spoke to me on a good day, had sent me a snide little message about how nice it must be to have a house all to myself while Jason was basically homeless. They weren't subtle. They weren't smart. And they weren't stopping. The first real escalation happened on Saturday. I had just gotten back from the grocery store carrying in bags of food when I saw a car parked in my driveway. Not just any car, Jason's car. I stopped, my stomach tightening. For a second I thought, maybe he left it here and someone picked him up. Maybe he wasn't actually here. Then my front door opened, and out stepped Jason, like he owned the place, like he had been waiting. I dropped the grocery bags onto the counter and stalked toward him, my pulse pounding. "What the hell are you doing here?" I demanded. He spread his arms, all fake innocence. "Just checking out my new place, bro." His new place. The audacity of it was so staggering, so breathtaking that for a second, I actually couldn't speak. "Get out," Jason scoffed. "Relax, man. Mom told me to come by. She said we should talk about this face to face." "There's nothing to talk about," I said, stepping closer, making it clear that he was not welcome. "This isn't your house." Jason smirked. "It's a big house, though. You really think you need all this space to yourself? You don't even have a family. You don't even—" "Jason!" I said his name like a warning, my voice ice. He rolled his eyes. "Look, I know you're mad. I get it. But come on, man. You know this is the right thing to do. You know I need this more than you do." That word again. Need. Like I hadn't needed things before. Like I hadn't needed help growing up but never got it. Like I hadn't needed a break when I was killing myself to build something from nothing while he was pissing away every chance he was given. "No," I said again, my voice deadly calm. "You want this house, Jason. You don't need it." His smirk twitched. "Mom and Dad think you're being stubborn about this." "Mom and Dad can think whatever they want," I said coldly. "It doesn't change anything." Jason's jaw tightened. His face twisted into something ugly. "You're gonna regret this." "No, Jason," I said, stepping forward, forcing him to back up. "The only one with regrets here is you." I reached for the door, pulling it open wide. "Get out." He didn't move right away. He was waiting for me to break, waiting for me to say fine and let him in, waiting for me to be the person I had always been, the one who gave in. But I didn't. I stood firm. And eventually, he realized it. "Whatever," he muttered, brushing past me. "You're just a selfish asshole." I didn't respond. I didn't even watch him leave. I just shut the door and locked it. That night, I sat in my living room, staring at the walls of my house, feeling something settle inside me. Finality. I wasn't the villain here. I wasn't selfish. I wasn't wrong. For years, I had been the one making sacrifices, the one doing everything on my own, the one they all expected to step aside, to give up, to make room for Jason. Not this time. This time, I was keeping what was mine. And if they didn't like it, that was their problem, not mine. I didn't hear from Jason for 2 days. For a moment, I let myself hope that was the end of it. That maybe, for once in his life, he had accepted no as an answer. That my family had realized their guilt trips, their manipulations, and their blatant entitlement weren't going to work on me. But deep down, I knew better. Jason wasn't the type to walk away empty-handed. And my parents? They had never let things go when it came to him. So when the next attack came, I shouldn't have been surprised. But I was. Because this time they escalated. This time they went for the nuclear option. It was Wednesday morning when I got the text from my mom. "Mom, we need to talk. I'm coming over." Not, "Can I come over?" Not, "Are you free?" Just, "I'm coming over." Like she still had control over me. Like I was still a child she could scold into obedience. I didn't respond. And I definitely didn't expect what happened next. Because 2 hours later, my doorbell rang. And when I opened it, it wasn't just my mother standing there. It was all of them. My dad, my mom, Jason, even Denise and Rob, who usually stayed out of these kinds of fights, unless there was something in it for them. A full-blown intervention. For what? Not giving my house away? I stared at them for a long moment, my grip tightening on the doorframe. "What the hell is this?" I asked, my voice flat. My mother was the first to speak, her expression the perfect mask of forced patience. "We just want to talk," she said, her voice soft, coaxing. "We've already talked," I said, not moving. I said no. That should have been the end of it. Dad sighed like he was disappointed in me. Jason crossed his arms looking smug, and Denise, ever the dramatist, gave me a look of pity. "You're being unfair," my mother continued, taking a small step forward. "Can't we all just sit down and work this out together?" Together. Like they had ever been there for me. Like this was some kind of family decision rather than a blatant attempt to pressure me into giving up what was mine. "No," I said simply. "There's nothing to work out." Jason scoffed. "Man, it's just a house." I turned my gaze to him, slow and deliberate. "Then why are you fighting so hard to take it from me?" That wiped the smirk off his face. But before he could respond, my mother stepped in again, her voice sharper now. "We raised you better than this." I laughed, a short, hollow sound. "Did you?" A flicker of something crossed her face. "This is family," she tried again. "We take care of each other." "You didn't take care of me," I said, my voice cold. Silence. For a brief, flickering moment, she looked genuinely stunned, like she had never considered that truth before, like it had never even occurred to her that I had been just as much a part of this family as Jason. Except when it came to receiving things. Only when it was about giving. Only when I was expected to sacrifice. I exhaled slowly, letting my gaze sweep over each of them. Denise, already shifting uncomfortably. Rob, checking his watch like he was bored. Jason, simmering, still looking for an opening, and my parents, standing there with the weight of their own failure pressing down on them. "Let me explain something," I said quietly, my voice razor sharp. "This house, it's mine. I worked for it. I earned it. I sacrificed for it. And none of you were there for that. You weren't there when I was struggling. You weren't there when I needed help. But the second I succeed, suddenly, you think you have a right to take what's mine?" Jason rolled his eyes. "Oh, here we go." "Shut up, Jason," I snapped, and he did. I turned back to my parents. "You say we take care of family? Then why didn't you ever take care of me?" Mom opened her mouth, then closed it. No excuses this time, no lies, no quick deflections to make me feel guilty, because there was nothing to say. They had to sit in it, and I could see it, the moment it hit her, the moment she realized she had pushed too far. We just thought," she started, but I cut her off. "You thought I would be a pushover," I said. "You thought I'd do what I've always done. Give up, step aside, let Jason take whatever he wanted while I made do with whatever scraps were left." A sharp inhale, a flicker of guilt, and then finally, understanding. Because I wasn't that person anymore, and I never would be again. "Leave," I said, my voice steady. "And don't come back." Jason scoffed. "Dude, you're seriously cutting us off over a house?" I looked at him. "No," I said. "I'm cutting you off because I finally see you for who you are." More silence. No one moved. No one spoke. Then, after a long moment, my dad exhaled sharply and turned away. He was the first to leave. Denise and Rob followed, murmuring something under their breath. And then it was just my mother and Jason. She looked at me, searching for something. One last opening, one last chance to pull me back in. She found nothing. "You'll regret this," she whispered. I smiled. "No," I said simply. "You will." She flinched. Then, without another word, she turned and walked away. Jason muttered something under his breath, but I didn't even hear it. I just watched them go. Watched them walk out of my house, and I let them. I closed the door, locked it, and breathed, because it was over.